I want to thank everybody for watching Crypto Revolution. We talk about everything crypto almost daily, jumping right into the market. Today in crypto, Bitcoin 1 hour. Let's talk about it. So we've seen today is MLK Day in the United States. And so stock markets were closed today. Futures markets are open. Bitcoin is right now trending higher in a rising wedge, which is technically a bull flag, right? And so what happens is, and this picture is from 2019, and when you get price action, that a rising channel is supposed to break lower. But what happens is when Bitcoin gets going, and this is possible where it breaks to the upside, because I mean you already have this parabolic price rise, right? There's obviously a lot of buyers jumped in on Bitcoin. There's a bunch of FOMO. And so when you start to get the patterns that break the opposite direction, so if this does break higher, where are we going, Chris? So 22,450 is the next level higher. So if Bitcoin is able to push through this overhead resistance, which essentially the FTX sell-off started right here at this resistance, and now it's major overhead. It's a ceiling right now, right? It's a ceiling. So to flip this as the floor would be the next test for the Bitcoin bulls. Obviously, markets are open tomorrow. You'll see some volatility out of Bitcoin, but today, Bitcoin's just been working sideways, kind of cooling off the RSI on all of the time frames. This is the Bitcoin weekly chart, where it definitely would be a bullish idea. See this previous high? So right here, you got your falling wedge, right? If you take the measured move of the falling wedge, which is basically the open end of the falling wedge, the target here is all the way up here to 25,900, right? So that's just what technical analysis says, which is above the weekly 200 simple moving average. Now, the weekly, remember, is a very good sign of a bull market, right? When the price action is able to hold above the weekly 200 SMA. So if that's where we're headed, then this pattern needs to play out to its fullest. So one thing I want you to notice is you've got this low and then a higher low. This high could be a higher high, higher than this previous high. Okay, so that would be very bullish, and that would be, again, you got some sellers stacked at about 21,875. But after that, you know, could you see a move up here to, again, 22,500 and then 24,300 and then about 26,000 to short of. That's where technical analysis says that this pattern is supposed to, that's the measured move. It's not Chris made it up. You got volume confirmation to back this idea up. So is Bitcoin making a major reversal? You can definitely build a case, because on the daily, we're above this 200 SMA on the daily chart. So right now on futures, here's what's happening. There's a price gap. And so you probably hear a lot of people talk about this, and just so you understand what it is. And so a lot of people think these price gaps have to be filled. Market makers very commonly do fill these price gaps. And so there's a ton of buyers waiting for a pullback to fill this gap, to fill this price gap, because it's open, right? There's a bunch of unfilled orders right here. So it's a CME Bitcoin future. So market makers will manipulate the price as best they can to fill these gaps. Remember, CME futures close on the weekend, and that's what happened. And Bitcoin obviously has prices higher than it was. And so there's this price gap. Now, I can't even tell you how many times I was waiting for a gap to get filled and the price just took off. And so do you get the gap fill, and do you get the entry at about 19,500? I think would be a very good point to buy if it happens. Otherwise, this thing is just going to break out to the upside of this rising channel after a parabolic move like it did in 2019. If this starts happening, in your head, you have to say, hey, things are different. Like Bitcoin's doing things against the probabilities and the percentages. Things are different. When you start to see this, and again, on the major bull runs, like I can give you quite a few examples of large patterns where you've got rising wedges. When they start breaking to the upside, Bitcoin's going parabolic. Clearly, it already has to a point, but this is just another base, right? So here you have kind of a base where it moves sideways, another base, and this has been more of a major base, potentially, if this breaks to the upside. But again, there's a ton of people that would be glad for a pullback. They're waiting for a pullback. They're hoping for a pullback, so they don't have to just FOMO into the complete top, because a lot of people miss this move because it happened so fast, right? As soon as news came out for traditional markets, as far as the CPI, the inflation numbers hit market expectations. So stock market pumped. But right now, you see that traditional markets, as far as the Bitcoin CME, this is where stock traders trade. They paper trade Bitcoin on CME Bitcoin futures, right? And so right now, you got this like little flag where the price action is just kind of holding, hasn't been able to really push much higher than this previous 21,285 spot, where again, this is where the entire market crumbled after the FTX debacle, right? I've got some amazing shout outs to give in my trading group. This person up $10,000 this week. This person up, he actually accumulated $14,600 in the trading group. This person closed his ETH position, took some profits, $14,500 in profit. This person was able to buy one of his dream cars and put a deposit down in his house. Now he's selling his car and he's going to reinvest at the bottom, essentially. And he's going to look for much higher prices for a lot of these altcoins. So again, living the dream. And every day we're nailing banger after banger. I mean, I had so many people rejoining the group, coming back to where the money is made. We're going to continue the discount. So right now it's 60% off if you pay in crypto, and an additional $100 off to make sure you're in the best setups, period. Go over to my website, cryptorev.net. Join. If you have any questions about joining, send me an email, cryptobitcoinchris@gmail.com. That's one. So right now, again, futures are open, but stocks are closed. Holiday in the United States. You do not want to see this thing roll over and come back into the pattern, all right? So right now, you want to see this thing break out and continue higher. Everything changes, right? On February the 1st, you've got rates being announced as far as the rate hike goes by the Fed. And so that's going to move the market. But obviously the Fed, they've been increasing rates by 75 basis points repeatedly. Then they just dropped to 50 basis points, and inflation came in check, where, hey, what they're doing is working. They're tightening the money supply. They're manipulating the market so that it costs more for banks to borrow money. So if you go to get a loan on a house or a car right now, it's going to cost a lot more. But you can also go to your bank, and CDs are paying like over 4%. So you can lock up some cash and do pretty well if you just want to hold some cash on the sidelines right now at your local, especially credit unions in the United States. So again, bottom line is you want to see ES1 continue higher moon mission, period. Will potentially drag Bitcoin for more upside. SHIB. So there's a lot of news behind this coin. So Shibarium, Shiba Inu's layer 2 network is coming. Right? So Shibarium beta is about to be launched. And so there's a lot of hype on SHIB, right? There's news on it. They're launching this Shiba Inu layer 2. Elon Musk Twitter adds Shiba Inu for 360 million people. And so people are waiting on SHIB's price to react. It has started its bounce. This is a really strong coin. If you're going to look for a coin to hold for a couple months, 3 to 6 months, this is a coin which has a potential, a lot of potential upside, and could put a 2x in. Because you see previously came down, hit this level, bounced, you saw a nice move around, it's back down here after a double bottom. And again, so I mean, looking for a move up to this level. Bitcoin's got to obviously cooperate. You need a break above the 200 simple, but on the daily, there's a lot of good things happening. That, a quick note on the SHIB idea, like if you can get this on a pullback to the pattern, I mean, that's a pullback's always the best place to buy. But again, Bitcoin's at a point where you're about to see a move. If you do get the pullback, everybody wants to load altcoins on the pullback. That's obviously going to be your best entry, but do you get the best entry all the time? Not necessarily. If you guys like the content that I provide on a daily basis, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the subscribe button real quick for me. Like the video, leave a comment in the comment box. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.